We are the Church of the Larger Fellowship, the Unitarian Universalist congregation with no geographical boundaries. We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love.
For over 85 years, the ministries of the Church of the Larger Fellowship have circled the globe and crossed the walls of prisons. We are a spiritual lifeline for our over 2,000 members in prison, who are also connected to individual Unitarian Universalists through our letter-writing ministry.
In our online community, we offer weekly worship, classes, and groups. Our monthly magazine, Quest, supports the spiritual lives of thousands around the globe. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed even from a distance.
We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship.
We are so excited to bring you an all-new episode of the Voices of Unitarian Universalism, known affectionately as The View.
The View is a weekly Unitarian Universalist talk show discussing important faith-based topics from an anti-racist, anti-oppressive, and multicultural perspective.
Since 2013, we have gathered every Thursday from September to June to welcome guests from around the world.
Our guests are writers, scholars, activists, and religious thought leaders who are shaping Unitarian Universalism and society for the 21st century and beyond.
We hope that today's show inspires you. We hope it builds your faith and gives you perspective to see the power of Unitarian Universalism at work in your life.
Welcome to The View. Hello, folks. I am so excited about today's guest. But first, I'm going to introduce myself. It has been a week. I don't know what's happening. My name is Aisha Hauser. My pronouns are she and her. I come to you from the land of the Coast Salish people, also known as Seattle, Washington, and it's bright and sunny, which is super exciting. And today I will introduce our guest after our co-hosts introduce themselves. Reverend Dr. Dante Hilliard, how are you? Where are you? Reverend Doctor.
Hey y'all. I'm just kind of taking in the afterglow of defending my dissertation.
Yeah, you are.
I successfully defended my doctoral thesis at Meadville Lombard on this Tuesday to a great cloud of witnesses, which was so beautiful. And so I'm happy. I'm tired. But I'm excited about whatever comes next. So I'm here in the land of the Council of Three Fires, which is made up of the Ojibwe, the Ottawa, and the Potawatomi people. Also in my favorite city in the contiguous United States that we call Chicago, Illinois, South Side, because it's the best. I'm great. And, this weather is doing all kinds of things. I don't think we need to discuss it. How about you, Reverend Dr. Michael Tino?
Oh, greetings, everyone. I'm the Reverend Dr. Michael Tino. I'm the other half of the lead ministry team of the Church of the Larger Fellowship, along with Aisha, and joining you from beautiful, sunny, springtime Peekskill, New York, the land of the Kichwawan, Wappinger, and Munsee Lenape peoples, about 35 miles north of New York City. And I had the pleasure of getting to attend Dante's dissertation defense, and as regular viewers of The View will expect, it was appropriately brilliant. It was appropriately brilliant and well received, and it was really nice to see all these people from all over Dante's life there, just cheering him on. So, and as we start today because DC is not here to pay attention to the first time we say fuck on the show, 1205 me. I just want to give people a gift link to an article that I read on the New York Times website today. Apparently, Democratic politicians have decided that the language of the people is the language they should use, and they are embracing the F word to refer to the president and the Immigrations and Customs Enforcement Agency, and like fuck all of this shit. And so, if anyone has an in with, for example, Senator Ruben Gallego, who apparently has used fuck more times than any other politician on X, we would love to have him on the show to discuss all the things that he thinks need to be fucked. So, but I decided y'all you viewers out there, you need a gift link to this. So it is in
Thank you. Also, we are ahead of our time here at The View. We've been saying fuck for at least 15 years.
That's right. Woo.
We have not held back here. I'll introduce HP Rivers for our UU roundup. We are so excited. HP Rivers is a super mom, CEO of Blessed Be by HP. First of all, great name. Candidate for the Unitarian Universalist Ministry and radically committed to building the beloved community in Appalachia and beyond. They live in Tennessee with their family, where they operate Blessed Be and work with the wider UU community as a community-based ministry intern. They are a religious educator. What? Proud Laredo UUMA and trust member. And HP, I'll let you say where you are exactly and what land you are on. And welcome to it's your first View.
It is. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yes, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, land of the Cherokee and so many other people that it's always been a great blend, even back in all the way back. And I'm excited to be here with y'all. And I actually had a great time at the last No Kings rally blasting fuck Donald Trump from my car on repeat in my clergy college. So community-based.
Nice. So I do want to say, Reverend Dr. Michael and I are wearing Blessed Be shirts. Original. I have 2 of these, and I was telling, I posted this on social media, and I want to tell the view audience, I get more responses from complete strangers from this shirt. The only other shirt I still get responses from is Protect Trans Kids, My Faith is Love, the other popular shirt that a lot of you wear. But this one, You Are Loved, the thirst out there for people to feel affirmed in the fullness of, and for us to walk around just being able to wear this ministry. And I know this is your son's design. You could tell us more about it. I just want to say thank you. And I also want to get to your online ministry, and your pink skeleton rainbow flag. Fuck the HOA ministry.
That one. Yeah, like, oh gosh, where do you want to start?
Well, where you are on the land of I wanted you to say where you
Oh,
are.
yes, land of the Cherokee and also many other people. I honestly haven't looked at the Native Land website in a hot minute, so I don't remember the whole list off the top of my head, but I'm going to look it up after this. And I work with the East Tennessee UU cluster. I've just completed a community-based and social media-based internship, and I'm waiting to see the MFC in September.
Wow. And so one of the things I noticed, I follow you on TikTok. Thank you. I love your TikTok channel. You're one of our UU pastors who what you said is, before we came on, you're tired of being gay in Tennessee. Yeah. Tell us more about what it's like. Yeah. And I've never lived in Tennessee.
Tired of being gay in Tennessee for sure. I would say tired from being gay in Tennessee, because being me, it's easy being this awesome. It comes naturally. Being this awesome around a bunch of homophobic bigots is, it's a special kind of challenge. Right now I've been in a month-long battle with the HOA over rainbows. because one of my neighbors doesn't have anything better to do. So it's such a silly story, and the silliest part for me is that I've been doing social media ministry for like 3 years, and this is the thing that has gotten me the most reach. I had like over a million viewers, or 1 million views on Threads talking about this HOA thing. And I think it's really interesting how many people are willing to digest a story that way. And I've actually been like posting about it in a way that makes it about the HOA, but the more I post about it and the more people get engaged, we're talking about, hey, this is systemic oppression. This is what death by 1,000 cuts looks like. This is, I've got jokes for days. We're making light of it. We're having fun. But I'm also sharing that, a couple weeks ago, while this was going down, it impacted my mental health in a scary way. And I'm someone who's been in therapy since I was 18, right? And studied social work. I have easily, I need to count one day, easily 30 or 40 ministers in my phone who I could call any moment, and still just being worn down by a bully really impacted my mental health in a scary way. And I know that, for me as a queer adult who has identity spaces, has people like y'all in my corner, I got through that. But the reality is that a lot of queer youth and young adults don't get through that. And it was jarring to me to recognize in real time, like, this is how desperate people get. This is how miserably desperate to be seen and to be cared for and to just be able to exist. And I guess we went real heavy, real fast. But like, this is how desperate it is. This is how miserable it is. And I think people who live in other places don't have the perspective to fully understand that.
Well, and I want people to like understand that, because I've been following I've been following your story and getting righteously outraged alongside you, even though I am not the target of it. That the last complaint was for the tiniest little rainbow flag. That one on your door where a wreath would go. Right? And wreaths on doors are allowed by the HOA, but someone complained about a tiny little rainbow flag, like behind your storm door. Not even like flying out in the yard, flapping
What's
in
the
people's
complaint?
faces.
Because I'm not on Threads at all. What's the complaint?
Okay, so the first complaint, it's that I'm not allowed to have any signs or flags. Nobody's allowed to have signs or flags. I mean, the straight people with the Subaru on the end have a little sign with their wedding date that I guess is fine, but whatever. And the person next door has some tacky ass Christmas shit still up. But signs on doors, big deal, apparently. So it was that, and then it was I had a rainbow pillow on my swing outside. And then the last one really pissed me off because it was Monday. I was home all morning. They waited until I left to go pick up my son at school. I was gone for an hour and took photos of my place where I'd left like some gardening stuff on the porch and got me for leaving stuff out and leaving trash on the porch. Like I was gone for an hour out of the whole day. And it's just like, I knew it was probably about gay stuff after the second one. And I named it to the leasing company, to the landlord, to Threads. And everybody, people who live other places and can see it from the outside are like, yeah, that's clearly harassment. Yesterday, I stood in the parking lot in front of my house talking to an officer from Knox County saying, I don't feel safe here. This is a threat to my safety. What can you do? I have a child. Like, what do you want me to do? And they said, they can't do anything because it's an HOA, not a person. And if I think there's discrimination, yeah, that's a federal crime called TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. And at that point, I'm like, okay, well, is TBI gonna take me seriously? Yeah. And that's the thing that I think when we try to educate people about systems of oppression and the experience of that, I think a lot of people get stuck at that shouldn't be happening. And I think that's where a lot of people, and I'm very confident that there's a Black woman who's already said this, but like people get stuck at like, this shouldn't be happening. Have you tried? Have you tried? Have you tried? Yes, I've tried having a committee meeting. Yes, I've tried having a book club. Yes, I've tried getting their documentation and their bylaws. And
have you tried apple cider vinegar?
Have you tried yoga and just writing it all down? Spray some breast milk on it. Like,
that's amazing.
But the thing is that people get stuck at that if this shouldn't be happening, there must be something you can do. And in theory, sure. But when you add when you experience the intersectional experience of being a queer, neurodivergent, single mom with a neurodivergent child, no, I can't just call the police, and I can't just, stand my ground because I can't risk my housing. And I can't just, take down my pride stuff and show my child that the bullies win, because I'm worried about his mental health over the next several years. So right now I have a very nice message in chalk marker on the back of my car about the statistics of suicide among queer youth addressed at my neighbors, and hopefully they'll read that, maybe.
I think this, what you're naming, when we talk about so you live in what, a red state, but really, I mean, there's shenanigans and again in Washington state as well. So it's the implications and the consequences of people being given license to just be heinous, right? And to just not leave you alone. Like and it's the rainbow, for fuck's sake. Like, and I know that, obviously it is political because it is a representation of who we are and pride. But on the ground, to your point, what I'm getting at is it's so important that Unitarian Universalists and Unitarian Universalism and those people of faith who affirm everyone are allowed in how we do it, because we have to let everyone know you're not alone. You are not alone. And I'm kind of sitting with that how this has been weighing on you, and that even though you do have a lot of people you can call, it is still a heavy weight that you are carrying with your child in hostile territory, right? And that's whew.
Well, and it's your home.
And it's your home.
Yeah. And shit, it's owned by a family friend. I didn't think I would have any problems here. And I thought that the family friend would stand up for me and my family would stand up for me. But that's, all of everything just collapses on itself. And I think that's what we're seeing. And, I talk about my own experiences online so often that I have people telling me that, like, I have a victim mentality and I just like being the center of attention. I do like being the center of attention sometimes, but I don't talk about myself online and what happens in my life to make it about me. It's because I'm a teacher, and it's because if I can help somebody understand what a queer experience actually is like, I have straight friends who would never know what it's like for their queer neighbors if I didn't post about my experience. And so I think it's really important for us to do so.
Yeah, because it's not benign. And people, and for people for whom it's also happening, they know that this is why we fight the collective fight, and we, do what we can where we are. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how are you finding your TikTok ministry? I love your videos a lot. You're very real and entertaining, and also have a ministry.
I love it so much. I was basically raised by the internet. I was in middle school when, like, MySpace was super big. So I was, like, coding my own MySpace and everything, and learning all of that and those types of interactions. And most importantly, the culture of internet that was emerging at that time. I really learned a lot from that when I was younger, and I just grew up with it. So now translating ministry to social media isn't a big deal for me. It wasn't a big deal for me to switch, it was a big deal to switch to online RE during the pandemic, or during the shutdown. But honestly, it came very naturally to me. Excuse me. I love it. And it's just as real and just as important and authentic as ministry face-to-face. And it's honestly more accessible for a lot of people. I have reached millions of people who, many of them, would never set foot in a UU church. And I'm not setting out to evangelize and convert people, but if I can let especially queer people know that, hey, this type of community exists, the amount of church hurt out there is just outrageous, you know, to the point even in the queer community, like I don't wear my collar to events because it scares people. Even looking the way that I do, people in the South, queer people in the South do not, as a rule, respond kindly to people who are visibly clergy, and I don't blame us. So it's a delicate balance, and it's been very interesting to document and you know, really talk about my special interest, which is Unitarian Universalism and community-based ministry and generational healing through community building. And, you know, sometimes people like to listen to me talk about it. Sometimes they don't, but it's been really, really interesting and so many cool people. I actually met you for the first time on TikTok. We've been in Laredo together since 2019, but we never actually interacted until TikTok.
Wow. Really glad we interacted on TikTok. I want to pull the thread of evangelism because I'm fine evangelizing Unitarian Universalism. I am very excited about it. I also think I agree that about religious healing from religious trauma. And I wonder, and this is really to the four of us, I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts. I want us to be more evangelical in this affirmational faith. We don't convert people because that's not our theology, but we can invite people in. We could be more bold in saying there is a place where it is not about us being perfect because we're not. We're going to fall short because we're human. What we will do is affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and that we celebrate everyone in the fullness of who they are. And I think I love evangelizing Unitarian Universalism. When I'm in spaces where there aren't a lot of UUs and I talk about how affirming we are, people are like, well, I like that. And I'm like, well, come on over, like, check it out here. And I send people my sermons and definitely there are people, I'm one of them. I mean, religious harm is deep and painful. So I'll leave it there. Dante, what are your thoughts, Reverend Doctor? I'm just going to keep saying that forever.
So I want to go back to this discussion about the HOA. So my life work and my dissertation work is about liturgy, about the understanding the power and the possibilities of communal storytelling, which we call in religious communities liturgies or community rituals. We call them liturgies. They exist outside of religious spaces. And I think it's James K.A. Smith who talks about this, that liturgy, first of all, liturgies are powerful because they shape us more long before there's social media, before there's internet, before there's television or radio. We had storytelling. Every society has a technology of communal storytelling. And that is how we humans human one another. This is how we humanize ourselves collectively, is through shared storytelling that shapes our values and our visions of the world. And in religious world, we call that liturgy and worship. But the world outside, the empire, has a liturgy too. This is why I only think liturgy can save us, because what we're suffering from is the liturgy of the empire, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this HOA is an agent of imperial liturgy, right? It's saying not that we all need to look the same. Everybody needs to look like what we say everybody needs to look like, right? And we will make the exceptions for the people we want to, because that's power. Power is, not only will I make the rules, I will change the rules to suit my needs, right? That's power, that's so that this is an example of what Smith calls cultural liturgy looks like, liturgy of the world. I call it imperial liturgy. That's what this shit is. It is, rituals of humiliation, rituals of exclusion, rituals of attempts at dehumanization, which never works because it's like a really bad spell. Anytime you try to dehumanize someone, the karma of that spell just comes back to you, and you dehumanize yourself. So I just think that that's an important point for those of us in theological and ethical religious leadership, is to understand that, people keep talking about the irrelevance of church and faith and religion. It's not irrelevant. The problem is we've forgotten how relevant we are. We've forgotten that there's nothing out there in the world. Evil only has like 3 tricks. Empire only has like 3 tricks that they've been using since the beginning of time.
And so naming this as the ritual of empire, the HOA as ritual of empire, allows us then to unpack that it's toxic theology.
Yes.
Absolutely. And it's rooted, I mean, you know why HOAs exist? Because they couldn't legally say that Black people couldn't live here anymore.
That's right.
Like, it's you take an overtly racist policy and you whittle it down to, okay, redlining, okay, mortgage standards, okay, qualifications, okay, credit score, okay, HOA. And when you don't have those overt, like, oh, it's not legal to discriminate anymore. No, it's not legal to discriminate anymore. And yet I've had 8 HOA violations in the last month from someone who doesn't like that they have a really cool, hot gay neighbor. Like, that's so silly.
And of course, Darby, our wonderful, fabulous treasurer of CLF, is her HOA president, and is enacting liberatory lenses in the HOA where she lives in Texas. Thank you, Darby.
Thank you, Darby. Amen.
But yeah, I just think religious communities are disempowered because we have fallen under the spell of imperial liturgy. We are asleep. We are in active forgetting. Evil steals what's good and then convinces you that it's theirs and not yours. So that your resistance, they have you, instead of resisting the empire, they have you resisting the shit that belongs to you, that they've transmuted, that they've changed, right? So, it's to the empire's benefit that people lose hope, lose faith, lose community. That's the empire's the only person that wins from that. So yes, religion gets under attack when it's building community. Now, if your religion, if you kind of into Paula White religion, like, well, you can be empire, right? Like, you can advise empire. But for the rest of us, who love humans across the board, that's not what we want.
You know what's been fascinating? The loudest voice this week against our current president threatening to annihilate an entire country was the Pope, was the American-born Pope,
From
Leo.
Chicago.
From Chicago. He said, "The fuck you doing?"
From the south side of Chicago.
From the south side of Chicago. Pope, first American-born, United States American-born Pope. And so what's fascinating to me is, like, the Pope is and the Catholic Church, we can list it's a very long list of the havoc that the Catholic Church has wrought, continues to wrought again, in the country, in the world. And yet, when this ongoing crisis is happening, it is Pope Leo who's coming out. And mind you, how many heads of state have come out and said to Trump, cut the fucking shit? I don't even know if there's been any. They've just been, and then so I think there is a place for Unitarian Universalists to be the religious left and to be loud about it and unapologetic about it. And it has been, honestly, I've been so proud of us, the people who've gone to Minneapolis, the people who are the clergy and lay and ordained and pastors and people UUs in full force coming out and saying, we don't accept this. This is not inevitable. The world can and will be different because we are going to make it so.
Yeah. And
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, yes, Darby points out that the response of the administration to the Pope speaking out against genocide was to threaten to bomb.
Isn't JD Vance Catholic, and so is that dumb fuck Buchanan? Buchanan.
He's a convert, and like the cradle Catholics don't like him.
yeah.
I know, they're embarrassed. Converts are anyway.
I think what I'm intrigued by is when, Bell Hooks developed her entire sort of Black radical feminist vision around the concept of bringing the margins into the center.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if the Iranians have been studying Black American history, but this campaign on the UN, I'm like, we all need to pick up a pen, baby, because they are doing it. They're having fun. They're poking like, and if this is the stuff that's in all the traditions, particularly the Hebrew tradition and the Christian tradition, is like empire is the target all the time. You're silly, you're stupid, you think you're doing something against us, but there's always one of us on the inside that's fucking your shit up, but you don't know it, and we convince you to give us resources to fuck you up. Like, this is like, you will collapse. Empire is performative. If I pull out my Judith Butler hat, it always is threatening to expire, which is why it never sleeps. That's why evil never sleeps. It can't afford to sleep, because the moment it rests, it dissipates. It is the largest spell work ever.
You're talking about the fucking Lego videos. What the hell timeline are we in? Tell everybody what you're talking about, because it's
okay.
wild.
So, like, Iran has done a series of videos. First of all, I know they've been studying Black culture because they're Black rap beef videos. Okay,
In
so
English.
it's hip hop.
Not in Farsi, in English.
The visuals are Lego based animations. The first one I think was called LOSER, Looser, which was about the orange. I can't keep using orange Cheeto, okay, because I'm not gonna. No animal looks like that.
The hate pumpkin.
All of that, or just a toxic white man in the West. Let's stop pretending like he's some exception to white male bullshit. Like, he's not. He's not. And he's surrounded and supported by a lot of people like him. They just like to hide theirs. He just likes to wear his sheet. That's it.
Right.
That's the difference. He will put on his clan's outfit and go take pictures. Everybody else keeps theirs in the closet. It doesn't matter. Anyway, but yeah, I just think that there's a lesson to learn here, because they're standing in their power. They're like, fuck you and your empire. And we know what power we have. So pull your best shot, boo. Do it. Who gonna check me, boo? Do what you do. Because you're so conceited, you're so full of your own bullshit that you don't understand that you will never win.
That's right.
Because you don't understand me enough to beat me.
That's right. They're too arrogant. I can't quite wrap my mind around that genius, because they're getting under his skin. They knew exactly what to do to get under his skin. They made one about success.
It's social media ministry. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Well, they probably have someone like under 30 working for them.
But the margin always understands the center. The center never understands the margin, which is why empires always die.
That's right.
They never take the time.
And the margin has to understand the center in order to survive.
Now, they will steal stuff from the margin. As my friends say, they will take your heresy and turn it into a hegemony. They will take our shit and change it, and fuck with it and turn it into a tool for them. But they don't ever take the time to figure out how we got there in the first place, or where it came from.
Because they're arrogant.
Yeah.
They think they're going to be there forever. There is such a deep arrogance to the people who think they're going to be in power forever. And that's been true for empire through the millennia. They never think they're going to fall. and pride cometh before the fall, and they always fall. And Iran has been punished really in earnest since the hostage. They let all the black embassy workers go first, except for one who spoke Farsi. They were like, "We need you," but they let and then so since 1980, 1979, there's been sanctions against Iran, and they've had to learn how to be independent of the global market, and they have. And like exactly your point, Dante, I thought exactly the same thing. They've been on the margins and studying exactly what this is all about. So the world is, and I'm really I'm going to say something just so stupid. I'm fucking disappointed in NATO and all these other countries that are cowards that won't say shit. Anyway. So we'll see. I don't know what's going on with this timeline. I have no predictions at all, except it's bananas. And I hope now I want to a little bit go back to, because I had one question for you, HP. Are you getting fined with all these letters? Is it just like, I don't have experience with the name.
That's the thing. So I am not in a homeowning tax bracket, so I am a renter, and what's happening is the empire pushing their power around. So whoever the HOA is or is representing them is threatening my landlord with fines. And landlord, if I don't think any fines have actually been incurred, but only the HOA does have the legal authority to put a lien on the house because of unpaid fines. So I received a letter yesterday that I don't think is actually legal, saying that if there are any fines, I will be responsible for them. That's not going to happen, but we'll see. I say that, and also this has been happening. So who knows? I've been given the opportunity to get out of my lease and move somewhere else without penalty, but it's still like I already moved my kid once this school year, and I don't know what people think community-based ministry interns make, but it's not any money, and moving is not actually an option. So it's hard to feel stuck, and it's ugly, and it's dumb to see so many levels of bullies throwing their power around. I read a lot of takes from survivors of domestic abuse the last couple of days, saying that what Trump did on Tuesday was the equivalent of spending the whole day beating us and waving a gun around, and then deciding not to at 8. And that one felt like a gut punch. And, I've lived in and studied generational trauma and cycles of trauma and abuse. And he's a classic abuser. These are classic abuse dynamics, except it's just on a macro scale. It's with the entire country instead of with the HOA. But you see it on the micro scale with an HOA. You see it on a medium-sized scale with maybe the Tennessee legislature. And then you have fucking Trump acting like an idiot. I'm not even going there. Yeah.
And to that point, people like to make fun of him because they say taco, Trump always chickens out.
Mm-hmm.
But what he's doing is activating everyone, increasing everyone's cortisol levels, exhausting everyone, and then pulling back. Right?
Exactly.
That's the abuser dynamic.
Yeah.
It's not chickening out, it's abuse.
And it's what we're watching happen on our social media timelines in Palestine for the last 3 years. It's, there's going to be a ceasefire. We're going to, destroy everything. Maybe we'll give them electricity today. Maybe we'll give them water today. And we've been conditioned to accept that kind of stuff. It's happening here now. It's already happening. And it's been happening for a long time. It's happening a lot more visibly and a lot more.
It's happening to white
overtly.
People.
It's happening to white people.
It's been happening to black and brown people.
You're absolutely right. And thank you for saying it.
I would say that I'm going to draw a distinction between abuse and terrorism. I call it terrorism because when you read the accounts of the enslaved in this country, the one thing everyone agreed upon is every day I wake up, I know something fucked up is going to happen to me. I just don't know what it will be and when. And so that's the terrorism. that you know it's going to happen. It's not maybe. It's something majorly fucked up is going to happen to me. And I got to carry that around with me until it does. Right? And that's what terrorism is. It is a ritualization of fear.
Yeah.
So that it's sort of like, well, for those of you who may have come from backgrounds like me, where you did get toe up by a belt, you know, when you broke the rules at home. You know, I know everyone doesn't practice that, don't believe in that, and I get it, I understand it. But one of the worst things a parent could do would be like, oh, wait till your mama get home. Or, oh yeah. And it's like, so the thing hasn't happened, but you are sitting in the anticipation that, oh, I know I did wrong. I know I messed up, and I am really going to catch it. And so, you know, maybe my mom was tired when she got home from work. She went to bed, and we never confronted this issue. But I couldn't rest because I was like, she ain't going to forget, you know? So like that, I think we need to, you know, like we're so quick to talk about what terrorism looks like on the outside of our own context. This is terrorism. It is ritualized fear. Rituals of terror is what this is.
Yeah, that is, and that's what was going on in Minneapolis and wherever ICE is. It is terrorism. They were terrorizing. I mean, still are, and the intention was to get us all afraid, and they did not expect community to show up for each other because, like you said, to your point or your earlier point, Dante, they don't study the margins, the people in the center. Empire does not give a fuck and thinks I don't know, doesn't think I don't even think it's about thinking. It's about an attempt at control, and there is no such thing as controlling people. There's only oppression through violence, and it's terror. But you cannot control the people. You cannot. And much to the chagrin of empire, especially this one. I was thinking, like, is the U.S. empire worse than the Roman Empire? It's got to be. But I wasn't at the Roman Empire, I don't think. So
I think if the Roman Empire was live streamed on TikTok, like, they'd be neck and neck.
That's true, because they were pretty heinous too.
Well, I don't. Well, see, I want to talk. What we have to remember that the trafficking and enslavement of my ancestors never existed in any other time in any other space. Now, but America didn't do that by herself. This was a European enterprise, right? That all of the European countries were benefiting from. So I don't know if America's worse, but I know that shit has happened in this global reality that never happened before, and we should all be working that it never happen again. Like, you know, So I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's more like the Roman Empire was like the Pokemon's first evil form, and then it evolved, and now it's America, and then it evolved, and now it's Israel, and then it evolved, and I got canceled. It is what it is. Just got to defeat the evil Pokemon.
And we do have to say U.S. America, right? Like, it's the United States.
Absolutely.
Because,
Rome was a rehearsal. Rome was a rehearsal of it. Again, it's liturgy. You keep doing it over and over, adjusting, adapting to context to get your desired outcome.
So what is at the core? Is it evil? It's not Satan. What is it? Is it unhealed wounds? What is this desire to control through terror? What is the, like, I guess it's the philosophical existential question of good and evil. What is this? Why? Tell me why.
I mean,
I can tell you why I think it is. It is insecurity. It's simple it's a lesson we all had to face in childhood. The bully is the most fucking insecure person in the room. And instead of dealing with their shadow, dealing with what makes them feel less than, and maybe that's someone else, I don't know. They take out their feelings of unworthiness on other people as a form of claiming their own power.
Well, and highly related to insecurity is greed, because they never think they have enough.
They never think that, and that's been true through the millennia. The wealthy gather and gather piles of gold, right?
And so it's, how can I exploit more people to get more for myself, because I don't have enough.
The whole philosophy of capitalism is, if it makes you money, it's okay. That's the whole fucking philosophy.
The whole philosophy.
I think it does come down to core wounds and trauma. If you look at it from a nervous system and a family system perspective, when someone is raised by their first bully, doesn't just experience bullies in kindergarten or wherever, when the bully is in the house from day one, when the bully is the womb you grew in, that's all you know. That's the culture you're born into. And those behaviors come from trauma at some point. Now, of course, we become adults and our trauma becomes our own fucking problem. And we all need to go to therapy. And if we don't, we end up like Donald Trump. And I think that's really it. It really is just an absolute detachment from pure love, a detachment from God, detachment from beloved community, whatever that may be. It creates a void that people might try to fill with control or power or money, but it can't actually be filled. There's no amount of evil that they can perform and aim for. We've looked at the Epstein files. There's no limit to the level of evil that they can try to perform to replace what a loving and supportive community and upbringing and start would have given them. And when we exist in inherently traumatic systems, for all of us, it's traumatic to be a white man in America because you're cut off from your feelings from birth and socialized to be an aggressor. And that's not something that people are inherently. That's something they learn from society and their families. So it's all fucked up. And, so one time somebody asked me, like, what are you mad about? Like the first caveman that hit the first cave woman over the head and dragged her back to his cave. And I was like, yeah, I am. Because that's where this shit started. Like, if you want to talk about like Adam and Eve and original sin, it's trauma and rejection of our human nature to love one another.
And I firmly believe it was Adam and Steve. So I don't believe it was Adam and Eve. Just so we're clear.
It might have been Adam and them. Like
maybe all three, like little polycule.
Yeah.
The first polycule.
Biblical polycule.
You're right. I think there is which means those of us who do our shadow work, who continue to work to heal, to continue kind of being loud and loving, loud in our loving, loud in our affirmation and empathy. Because when you have national people saying empathy is a sin. Anyway, go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Well, I just want to be really clear that there are healthy ways to address and work through trauma. Right? Like HP, like you said, like we go to therapy. Right? We work with professionals. We work with trauma-informed professionals. Yeah. Like there are ways to stop those cycles. Right? And Empire marginalizes those ways. It makes them unaffordable. It makes them inaccessible. It makes them
so hard. And then there's no space for learning. There's no room for us to be in the learning space of wanting to do better, but not being there yet. And that's why our Unitarian Universalist communities are so freaking important, because they give us space to be in a learning place, to say, hey, I don't like what I came from. I don't like what I'm doing now. I don't like what I've always believed. I want to do something different, but I don't know what it is yet. But there, we do have a cancel culture, and we do have a culture of cutting people off when it becomes challenging instead of working through it. And we really owe it to each other to be imperfect and to be in a learning space.
And that's, I tell especially white ministers and white seminarians that I coach, who are leaning into this work, the work of repair, the work of dismantling systems of oppression, creating a container where, and I'm going to speak about white folks right now, being very intentional, where white liberals, especially, who really have a really hard time sitting in discomfort and getting away from, because shame is disempowering, but rather saying, yeah, this is a horrific history that we are still in. It's a horrific present. And grieving, what I say to white people is, when I do this work, is I say, grieve the gap between the world we want and the world that exists. Because guilt is disempowering, and frankly, it's self-indulgent. Like, oh, I feel guilty. You didn't create this, friend. You are not God. How about it? It's not about guilt. It's because that then you just get to sit, you just get to be disempowered. But if you say, I grieve, so then you say, okay, now what can I do to make this different? What part can I do? And if everybody does something, that's how the world gets changed.
Absolutely. I work. Oh, go ahead.
Look, you also just reminded me that power is the first abused substance.
Oof.
It is the most addictive substance to humans. It is our kryptonite.
Mm-hmm.
An
It's
empire
like-
is just a structure full of power abusers, power addicts. That's why it's never enough. That's why we know hoarding money will never satisfy, because you need more. That you're never going to get that first hit back. So now you're chasing. You're chasing. And
fake
power
safety,
is the
like
most
Coke is fake
addictive-
dopamine.
Yeah, it's the most addictive substance known to us humans, and that's why we see, even in the movement against empire, the movements often fold around abuses of power. Churches, religious organizations, social movements, because they are constantly, someone gets addicted to the power and puts themselves at the center and puts who they decide are less worthy around the margins. And they replicate the structure, because even trying to fight empire, they end up getting addicted. They hit that pipe and now they can't let it go.
That is, wow. How do we break that addiction? And hi puppy, I'm gonna be right back. I have to show you all something. I promise. I'll be right back.
Damn. Yes.
Sorry.
My friend Stein.
Is that fuck ice? Okay.
Fuck ice.
I feel like we're giving ice a bad name, and we need to stop it. I love ice. It's frozen water. It's delicious, and I just will not yield my what ice is to me to the empire. I'm just not giving it up.
Fuck the system.
Bootlicking dorks.
But yeah, I think that's what we have to start treating abuse of power as a public health problem.
Yeah.
So fuck the abusers and fuck the fascists and fuck the jackboot thugs and
fuck cancer.
And cancer as well. That's correct. Yes, I'm getting text messages from my husband at the oncologist right now. So yes, fuck cancer.
Perfect.
Especially that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's talk about your beautiful child who made this. How did you know to put this on a t-shirt? I have two of them. I love them. Tell us about your beautiful image.
Okay, so my kiddo, Henry, is 10 and the quintessential UU preacher's kid, bless his heart. He went to seminary with me on my lap. So he's amazing. So shortly after I started the business, I knew that I wanted him to be involved in it because I have ADHD and so does he, and working a traditional job is really hard. So when I was setting up the Blessed Bee business, I had in mind, hey, UUs are always going to need t-shirts. And one day my kid's going to need a job. So he will be able to do this and the option for him. And I started just kind of planting that seed. And then I surprised him one day. He drew that rainbow and I scanned it and I put it on a t-shirt and I added the text and I surprised him with it. And he thought it was so cool. And I thought he would not be too into it. I thought he'd be like, Mom, that's lame, or well, we don't use that word. Mom, that's dumb or whatever. But he didn't. He was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Can I have the money from them? And I was like, okay. So we worked it out so that he gets a $5 commission for every one of those shirts that he sells. And and that money goes into his little bank account so he can buy the big ass Lego sets that he wants that are just ridiculous. But now, like, there are so many people who have that shirt. Like, we've been giving them to like his therapist at the occupational therapy center and his talk therapist, and we give them to family and friends. And we've had so many UUs buy them that message is just everywhere. And I'm so stinking proud of him. And he's so proud of himself too. He says, that's my design. I did that. I get paid for that. And he's just so cool. Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. And just so all of you viewers out there are clear and the listeners to our podcast, you can get these beautiful t-shirts, including the one Aisha's wearing and the sweatshirt that I'm wearing at blessedbehp.com, right? And that link is in the our YouTube and Facebook chat. So you can just click on it and buy lots of clothes and support HP's seminary journey and their son.
Yeah, so and there's 2 E's in B, blessed B-E-E, like the B, because we love a pun.
And I just want to say thank you for leaning into your sacred imagination, because again, the only thing that can save us from empire is the stuff they can't colonize. Well, they can, but imagination lives in mystery, right? So there's always something there they don't understand. And so I just think what you've done is such a wonderful example of how we can harvest our sacred imagination to transform our world. And I just think it's beautiful.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
So beautiful. Oh my gosh. Go ahead, Michael.
As we wrap up, I want folks to know that it's annual membership stewardship renewal time at CLF. And we have an exciting kickoff event happening this Saturday and a bunch of conversations that Darby, our treasurer, and if you are in our view chat, you've interacted with Darby, is hosting, and we would love for you to register for those, clfuu.org/renewal. And that's all we need to say about that. Just go to that website and check it out and register for those events. And buy lots of t-shirts and sweatshirts.
And any final words, HP, and yeah, we are so happy you joined us.
Yes, discussion. my final words are ACAB includes the HOA, and Shade never made anybody less gay.
Amen.
I might put it on a t-shirt if Taylor Swift won't sue me.
She will, because she's an asshole. I'm not a fan. Anyway.
Maybe we can all get F the HOA t-shirts.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Those will sell out in a fucking minute. All over the globe, because HOAs are,
except for the one that Darby runs. We love you.
Except for
I'll tell you what, if we get all kinds of interest from this, I will make an HOA one, and we'll give $1 from each one to the prison ministry.
Ooh, beautiful.
Seriously,
we love to hear that. Thank you. And next week, Michael, I think we have another influencer. I will not be here. I will be on my way to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, for the UU Women's Federation board meeting.
Yeah, we have the refashioned hippie. DC Fortune, our other co-host, is an unreformed TikTok addict, and has been inviting the stars of TikTok to join us. And is working his way up to so
excellent.
Reverend Joanna.
We will see. Oh yeah, Reverend Joe. That's right.
We have had Joanna on to talk about that ministry.
Yeah.
Look it up. View episode number 500. It was our 500th episode
with Meg. That's right. The OG.
Because Joanna invented the View.
That's right.
Oh, that's
Before
awesome. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Before she was on TikTok, she invented this talk show that has been going
Humble
for
beginnings. We love to
13
see
and a half
it.
years. Yep. So,
Oh, well, I'll text you, Darby. Darby might drive to Baton Rouge. I appreciate you all. Thank you for joining us on another amazing
you.
episode. Thank you, HP.
thank you, HP.
Congratulations,
Thank you for
Reverend
having
Dr.
me.
Dante, and see you later, Reverend Dr. Michael.
Bye,
Ciao, all.
everybody.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to everyone who gives generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible.
Visit clfuu.org/give to make a contribution.
We hope you will join us next week for another episode of The Voice